So sometimes when we're very close to the fire, we have a deeper insight into what's going on. And I want to bring someone that I respect. His name is Tim Canova. He's a Florida attorney, congressional law professor in Florida in Debbie Wasserman Schultz's district, and he is a candidate currently for congressman there. He's challenging Debbie Wasserman Schultz. He did challenge Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2016 and was deeply cheated. His ballots were thrown in the garbage, and he challenged that. He challenged that notion of his ballots getting thrown in the garbage in federal court, and he won. So Tim Canova writes something, again, people close to the fire have a good insight. Yes, Tim Canova wants to beat Debbie Wasserman Schultz in the election and become the next congressman. But he makes a spectacular point on Imran Awan. Right? It's a big story. Can't let it go. You can't let it go. You can't let Imran Awan out the back door. You can't let him escape justice. Can't let it happen. Right? So Tim Canova writes, this is on his Facebook page. The House Inspector General concluded all the way back in August 2016 that Imran Awan, Debbie Wasserman Schultz's IT staffer, likely committed serious cybersecurity violations, including accessing classified House Intelligence Committee accounts, all the way from Pakistan. But rather than suspend Awan, Schultz allowed him to remain in his position for another 9 months, with all of his access intact to the accounts of some 24 members of the House Intelligence Committee. Apparently, Schultz believes it better to keep a known security threat in place with all his access codes rather than suffer exposure and political harm. Damn right. We also learn of a police report filed against Awan in Pakistan by one of his 2 wives, alleging that Awan beat and kept her like a slave. 2 weeks later, gunmen fired into our family home. The DOJ must not be allowed to sweep spy ring and extortion racket under the rug. Tim Canova, candidate for the United States Congress. House. I mean, that's pretty heavy, right? That's some heavy stuff he just said right there. First, he's a wife beater, and what about all the liberal Democrats? So I thought they're all about women's rights and the social issues. You got a wife beater in Congress ripping the House Intelligence Committee, right? How does quid pro quo? What is quid pro quo? Quid pro quo is selling ideas out the back door. Now, the Democratic Party, the DNC. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the head of the DNC, right? DNC has said in open court, "Oh no, we're a private organization. We're not a government agency. We're not, right?" But they are. All the people, like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, is a sitting congressman in charge of the DNC, right? Right. So Imran Awan has access to all the passcodes, right? He has access to Debbie Wasserman Schultz's passcodes and some 24 congressmen. Right? So if he has access to Debbie Wasserman Schultz's passcodes, he also has access to the DNC records. Right? See, the case is so big because when you investigate it, when you look deeper, when you allow yourself to critically think, you realize that there lies the answer. Now, did Imran Awan leak the information of WikiLeaks? No, there's no motive for him to do that. But what there is motive is that somewhere in there is a leak or a leaker. Was it Seth Rich? Was it Eric Braverman inside the DNC? We don't know, but you could bet your ass that there is a trail, electronic trail there, and that the FBI refused to look at it. When DNC was caught and then blamed, when the DNC claimed that the servers were hacked right? When WikiLeaks got all their emails and they claimed the hack, right? Instead of the FBI coming into the DNC and removing the server and doing a proper investigation, the DNC called a private firm called CrowdStrike, and that's where that's where Guccifer was born, right? This notion of Guccifer was born. It's a fake story, right? And the ties to Russia. Why? Because Comey and McCabe had contacts with Russian oligarchs, and they realized that when Trump actually won, this came later, but when Trump actually won the election, right? They had to find a scapegoat, right? They had to find that scapegoat, right? Because of their ties to Russia. That's why the Russia story happened, because they were tied to that. They were Comey and McCabe. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little confused. I'm tying two stories into one. I'm trying to get the Imran Awan story out. Right? It's still a hot story and it's still talkable, right? But the Russia narrative came about because of Comey and McCabe's ties to Russian oligarchs, and then they tried to pin that all on Trump, and it's silly season again, right? That story, Imran Awan, it's almost like as if it never happened. The Democrats and the political machine is so powerful in the gaslighting process that people don't even, they're still thinking like, oh, I'm going to vote for this one, I'm going to vote for that one, and it's going to matter. It doesn't matter. That's where we're at right now. Right? It doesn't matter. Right? But we have to keep talking about it. We got to keep waking people up, you know. So that was my ramble. I know it was a little bit of a ramble, but people like Tim Canova, right? Still fighting a good fight, you know. You got to keep talking about this stuff, right? Right? Is there a tipping point, a breaking point? I hope so. I hope so. My name is Marcus Conti, reporting from New York City. Peace out.